Hi everyone, this is John Wen. Today, I gonna present this video to report what I've been done in past week. In past week, I keep been working on the treeview part of DataView project, and also I carefully read about um, the readDropbox.php file and write some comments myself in order to help me make more sense about how it works behind the scene. So let's briefly work through this file and see how it works, and we can discuss some questions or my to-do list later. So firstly, this PHP file will get the user get method to get few keys from the URL passed to this PHP. So like the app key, name, and ID. I believe this is triggered in here in the interface project. So here we have a hard-coded URL. So that is a database CS Wednesday edu, and we hard-coded all the ID equals 0, and also pass the app token and also the name to the URL. So I believe this URL is getting from and to here. And basically it will check two conditions, and one is ID equals 0 and one is ID not equals to 0. So in the case where ID equals 0, we have two sub conditions. One is folder name is empty, and we will execute the Java Dropbox.jar archive file with concatenate with the app token, and we will get the result and put them in array by each line, and also we will go through line by line and then to sign the array ID and also the array text. But the only difference between these two is we will check if there's any slash in the array ID, and if it is, and we will just get rid of the former part and to get a substring of the ID from the slash to the end and to put into the text array. And finally, we will put the text array text into a span HTML tag, and also pass the ID and text together into a JSON object. And finally, we will concatenate all the JSON files, JSON objects to the person string, and finally we will append this string to the file. So this file is defined here. It's in the data. I believe it's also on the server and called initial data.txt file. And we will use append method and also log the file when it's writing. So we can also open the file and echo all of them out and close it out. So this was the first condition when the folder name is empty, and this one is folder name is specified in the input. So we need to concatenate the folder name instead of slash here. So in this situation, it's quite similar to the former one, and we will check if if there is a slash in the array ID. If it is, we will just get a substring from the slash to the end and to assign it to the text array, and then put them together into the JSON object and then write it to the file. But this time we will write into also initial data text file. So So this is a overall condition of how works when ID equals 0. When ID is not equals 0, and we will um, do something slightly different. So let's go through this. And firstly, we will define the file is different from the former one is subnode data. So former one is initial data on txt. So here we will execute the same dropbox.jar archive execution file, but we will concatenate the ID as well and app token. Similarly, we will get the array from the result and go through the arrays. But here is the most different. The array ID, we will append the ID. This ID equals is not equal 0, so it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and slash uh, the rest of array. So and we also assign this to the array text variable. This time we will check uh, if the array ID contains the slash, and we will do the sorry. So basically it will check. It's a slightly different from the condition when the ID equals 0. So when it's other than 0, we will check if the the rest of array, which is also then will be assigned to the array ID and content slash. If it is contents, and we will add the ID and concatenate with the slash and the rest array. So that means this one will definitely contains a slash. And here we will check for the array text, we will check from the last slash until the end. So that means we will get the substrings from the last slash until the end, and then append it to the to a JSON object as well in the in last condition. So this time we will also append this file this string to the file, but it's in the subnode data.txt, and also lock it when it's written. Basically, it's quite simple about this file. So what I'm thinking or what I'm guessing is ID equals 0 and ID equals 1. They all basically they all put into the JSON file, and more specifically we'll put into the span and ID. So most likely it could be the difference could be in the appearance of this tag, or the different behaviors JavaScript will tell based on the array, based on the ID of the different tags or different HTML, ML element. So that could be a possibility. So I was trying to change the ID from the 0. So we hard coded all the ID to 0 to 1 or 2 or 3 and check if it works differently in the data view project. However, this time I wasn't able to successfully retrieve the data, even though I get the secure connected to the VPN. I'm not sure whether it's a server-side issue or there's some configuration issues on my local computer, but I will check it out later with Bai or others. The second part is so the first to-do list will be I will keep looking the difference of IDs, like ID equals 0 and ID equals 1. Is there any difference that will affect the data or outlook of the data? And the second part is about the two different files. So looks like they're written in the both in the same server and in the same file. So looks like they're shared by all the users. So if there's any auto log information like it will auto log the people's app token, users app token, or the timestamp, and it might be helpful to tell apart which is belong to who, so that will not interfere with other users if multiple users are sharing this same file. But if that is not the case, that will be easily messed up. So I will try to just look into these two files from the server. But right now, I haven't successfully located these two files, even though I have SSH the server and look through many files so far. I will work with Pi, and hopefully we can get this more clear as we are looking into these two files. So this is roughly this all the things that I've working with in past week. So overall, there are two items in the to-do list. The first one is to keep look at the ID and see if there's any difference on representation or the behavior on the tree view. And also the second to-do list item is to look into these two txt file and see if there's any auto logging data. And if there's not, and maybe we will need to find another way to help that would not interfere with other users. So that's all for today's report. Thank you for your time, and thank you and happy coding.